Mm. Hello, Angel. Thank
Mm,
you for coming today.
my pleasure.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you about the Voices of Gaia project
Mm,
and your experience being the first to go through the entire archetype journey of the Voices of Gaia New Earth Leadership pathway.
mm, mm,
And yeah, that was about over a span of two years,
mhm,
and walking through 8 different archetypes from the Peacekeeper to the Miracle Worker, the Gatekeeper, the Miracle Worker, and the Lightbringer, the Alchemist, the Visionary, the Lover, and the Entertainer. And so I know it's been a little while since you completed that process, and I wanted to come back and just talk to you a little bit about how that has integrated for you.
mm.
What has been going on with you? What have you been up to? I know probably a lot of wonderful things.
Well, a lot of wonderful things. Yeah, I think I actually want to start by talking about why I chose to do it in the
Yeah,
first place, if that would be
that'd be
um,
perfect.
useful. That feels really important for me to kind of ground in presence for myself
Hmm.
and for anybody else who's watching this. So, um, when this was offered, it became clear to me that it was a practical way to move from like reading about the different um keys that we have in our bodies and in our spirits and actually beginning to activate intentionally
Hmm.
each of those archetypes to intentionally activate for the purpose of embodiment rather than just for the purpose of having information and intellectual understanding of the the framework that you have. This was really about, oh, this is an actual way to take it from the mental into embodiment. And so
Yeah.
it felt very important to me when this body of work was birthed through you. It became clear to me. It was like, oh, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do all of it. I just knew I was going to do all of it as it was birthing through you. I knew that, I wasn't going to go halfway. I was going to go all the way and receive every single activation and receive, the awakening of every single archetype, even though, I have specific archetypes in my own structure. I just knew that I needed to do all of it
Right.
to be able to fully embody and to take these intellectual, conceptual ideas and bring them into full reality.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I am so grateful that you felt that call. And, for anybody that's listening, the keys that she's speaking of specifically each of the archetypes has 8 gifts, and they correspond to different um, aspects of consciousness, gifts, and working with the gene keys and human design. And so it was about bringing those into your body and making space for them in your subconscious, to run higher consciousness programs wherever you might need them to be running
Mm.
to walk as a new earth leader. I mean, tell me a little bit about what a new earth leader means to you after doing this.
Well, the main thing I want to say about being a new earth leader, and I already had this for
Mm-hmm.
myself when I came in, but now it's even deeper. It's been deepened. Is Earth is in the picture. You know
Yes.
what I mean? It's like new earth leader. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just about being a new leader, it's about being a new earth leader
A
and
new
just
earth.
um having the awareness that this is a partnership with the actual consciousness of the planet. And it's a shift from the Homo sapiens kind of power over, tame nature,
Mm,
extract from nature,
mhm,
all of that, to a deeper awareness, full embodiment of, and an understanding of the absolute interconnectedness between Earth and ourselves as expressions of the divine embodied on the planet, and that it's our like the fundamental piece of new earth leadership to me is all about really coming into partnership, like authentic honoring and authentic uh, dialogue and conversation with the energetic field that is the earth.
mm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, definitely about a more earth-centric view of leadership rather than human-centric, that whole ecosystem and harmony, right? And I love that today, speaking of gene keys, we're in harmony, gene key 50, which happens to be my purpose. So I love that we were able to drop in today and root out corruption in
Mm.
our minds first, so that we can find a nice balance with the earth and bring in those harmony codes, which we so need. So, how has, or is there a particular one of the archetypes that have surprised you in how they opened up something about your voice or your body? Was there anything that really surprised you, or like, wow? Hmm.
Well, it's been a while,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things that a new earth leader understands is that part of our work is to get out of like instant gratification,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's got
Mm-hmm.
to happen right now, instant gratification, and understanding that there are longer uh, timelines of embodiment, of integration, and then of kind of an outpicturing into our physical realm.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, suddenly, after a 10-year drought this spring, a lover arrived,
Oh.
which was quite the surprise. I was like, oh, how exciting. Um, and the lover kind of came in and has now sort of gone out again. However, I mean, I can't even say that he's out. He's just not communicating at the moment. However, it was a very spiritually, um, see the spiritual alignment of how the whole thing unfolded, and the connection to the earth was an essential, like,
Mhm,
ingredient in the formula. This person and I randomly, after meeting at a business event 6 months later, I was out in nature having my walks, working with the earth and listening to the earth and receiving from the earth and um blessing the earth in my just a random walk in the park, and all of a sudden he's running by and he we intersect, and I didn't recognize him at first, and I made some kind of little joke because he was running with this little child, and I said, "Oh, looks like you're running a sprint, and he's running the marathon, the little child." And then he turned around and he looked at me. He was like, "Oh my God, it's you! I manifested you!" And so yeah, and it wasn't even his kid. It was like a friend's kid, and he was out with these friends and whatever. Anyway, it was just like such a divinely orchestrated intersection.
Mhm,
And then there was this period for a couple of months where we just spent time in nature, and there I didn't know. I was very curious. I was like, "Hmm, is this an apprentice for me? Is this a business consulting thing for me? is he just a biking buddy, going out in nature buddy? I wasn't really clear what was happening. And then all of a sudden one day he kissed me and I was like, oh, that's happening. Oh, oh my goodness. And so, yeah, so the lover um archetype for sure,
Mm-hmm.
kind of has been working its magic. And the, interesting side note is after 10 years of no companionship in any kind of intimate way. Of course, when intimacy started happening, a lot of old, unhealed stuff started to emerge in me, and and for which I'm grateful to see it emerging and be able to attend to it.
Yeah.
So the big surprise, since you're asking what the big surprise was, the big surprise was a little summer fun.
A little summer of love.
Summer
Lover. That's wonderful.
lover. Yeah.
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 Wow. That's
Yeah. I
fun.
was like, wow, too. So, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well,
And side note, first time out in the woods.
even better.
Even better, right? Better.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah. Yes,
Definitely.
please. More, please.
It's about enjoying our lives as humans on Earth.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And enjoying nature and
And
enjoying
enjoying.
our physicalness and
Mhm.
enjoying all of what's available to us if we leave the, rigid adherence to staying in our minds only and get into the body,
Exactly. And
right?
that's part. I mean, I know that you've done, you've done all of the things, the concepts that were in the Voices of Gaia, journeys, not living in the mind and, living more from a heart-centered place and whatnot. But what I hear is that these codes, these keys that come with the archetypes, they landed somewhere new in your body
Mm-hmm.
and opened up a deeper level of that work that you have been doing or are always doing. It's just a
Mm.
different aspect of it.
Well, and yeah, and I do want to say that a major component of the work that you've created includes you utilizing your own voice of Gaia to bring through light language, which activates those dormant codes,
Thank you.
and the light language piece for me was also oh, definitely, I definitely want to do this. And it's interesting because I understand deeply the power of light language, and simultaneously, there's still culturally, it just feels like there's this resistance to having it be
Normal.
shown. Yeah, having it be normalized, having it be shown, having it be practiced, having it be utilized. And so it's interesting to me, this is coming right now as we're having this conversation. I can feel almost like there's still that barrier. It's not like a wall anymore, but it's more like a rubbery barrier
Hmm.
um, to fully expressing. And I mean, I use light language myself. I have that capacity. I have that capacity.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I have that capacity. And so, yeah, I knew when the offer was made that the light language piece was going to be a part of it. And I understand the value. I understand completely the value of the vibratory nature of the transmissions that are coming through your channel and the language that's being used, which is of a higher, more refined, more also grounded. I want to say also grounded consciousness,
Yeah.
right? Because it is the voice of Gaia in many respects that's coming through your channel in the
Yeah.
form of light language.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for recognizing that and sharing that. And as you know, the channel, the name that comes with the channel for the Voices of Gaia is Awin or Avon, Tasia Greener, and she's very much rooted in like aspects of druidry and just being very connected. And one of the things I have to tell you that I found out over the summer when I went traveling to England, to the Glastonbury area for a sacred retreat, and I connected more fully with that aspect of myself. And then I learned that probably most people would say in the noise of my DNA, because I'm have very dominant Hispanic and Native American from here where I live, but I have Irish and I have aspects of Cornish and of the Somerset area and the Devon area that I was in. And I was like, I had to go there. So now the light language that's coming through me now has changed. And that's what I will be sharing, as I go forward is like, you have to go to these places on earth to activate these different aspects of yourself. And so what I shared with you in that the first layout of the Voices of Gaia was a lot of, I would say, the Americas, like, a lot of the America codes and actually some Tibetan and Himalayan, like a lot of mountain like that. And now there's these new, more green, more watery, more Avalon codes
More
coming through,
valley, more
more valley.
valley.
So it's a beautiful time for me with my light
Yeah.
language.
Beautiful. And as I'm hearing that, I'm seeing the mountains being, more of the masculine frequency and the valleys being more of the
Yes.
feminine frequency coming in. And so beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
Love hearing that. Yeah.
It's so I'm curious for you if there are any aspects of your voice that you feel shifted. And there may or may not have been, but
Yeah. So, another fun thing that's happened just this summer is I also have relocated to a different housing situation, uh, and w- it's just so much more spacious in all the
mm,
ways, and so there is a part of me, from a voice perspective, that when I came into this new space, I have a giant great room as part of the structure of the house that I'm in. And as soon as I saw the great room and got my things in, the great room became a gigantic, spiritual room and altar space and so forth. But I also could see gatherings again. And I haven't done gatherings in 20 plus years, 20 years ish,
mm,
um, here locally. And so how that's going to play itself out remains to be seen. But I have already activated the woman who taught me how to, I made my medicine drum with her. And so there's some latent seeds that are still, they're in germination phase. In terms of how I'm using my voice, I think I'm being more precise with it
mm.
than I have been in the past. I'm a little less inclined to use my voice indiscriminately in places where it can't be heard.
Oh, yeah. The value of your beautiful voice.
Right,
Mhm.
right. I'm being more a better steward. Let's put it that way.
Better steward.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
even more intentional. I mean, not that I haven't been intentional, because I've been intentional for
Oh,
decades now,
right.
but there's more precision
Mm.
and more awareness and more stewardship and more intentionality around where my voice gets used and how.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's more energy for you
Yeah,
and
and
it
I
goes into
I also want to go back to the lover situation.
yes. Please
because
do.
yeah, because I want to go back to the lover situation because for the first time in my life, in a situation, an intimate situation with a lover, I was just completely open and expressing like what was going on. When, things started to get triggered, instead of swallowing it down and even though I did the work internally myself, I was doing the work internally. At the same time, I was like, oh, well, when that happened, this happened to me, and this happened to me, and this is what's going on with me, and this is how I'm dealing with it. And I was just like so much more capable. I felt so much more capable of just expressing what was going on instead of swallowing it. And I know for me that the intimate relationship place is still the growth edge. It's still the growth edge for
Mm-hmm.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful expression of the lover's gifts. It's like this new ways of relating and deeper connections, more transparency and intimacy. So that's beautiful. I love hearing that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So as we get to um sadly our conclusion, I would love to talk to you for longer, but I know your time is precious and your voice is needed and in other spaces. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Oh,
And yeah, I'd love that. And then there'll be one more question after that.
sure. So now currently, and whoever's seeing this, whenever you're seeing this, I am constantly evolving. So let's just start
Yes.
there. I'm constantly evolving and, fearless about doing that for the most part. So at the current time, I actually am running three different brands. I have two podcast-based brands, Wickedly Smart Women, which is centered around the podcast, but we've also done a book franchise. We've created a book franchise. It's a 14-time award-winning, #1 internationally ranked podcast, downloading in 138 countries around the world.
Wow.
Um, and what I'm doing with that is I'm expanding that brand now and offering to women who are in corporate. We have a special offer called the Smart Start Consultancy Build, Blueprint and Build. And so we
Oh,
help
wow.
women to blueprint their exit out of corporate, and
Oh.
what their consulting business can look like. And then we start to build the framework of the consulting business. And then there's, ongoing work after that. Once it's built, then you start to make bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that brand is expanding. And then the second brand is Leading Visionaries, podcast based. And right now that's, kind of in its infancy. It's only 2 years old. We are downloading in 62 countries, #1 internationally ranked, and we just won two more awards. So that's now a 6-time award-winning podcast. And eventually I'll be building out that brand, much like I'm building out Wickedly Smart Women. And then my consulting business. And my consulting business, I work with people and I help them with the big money business strategy intensive. I help them to then take that strategy and build out their wisdom to wealth um, business model.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I do executive advisory services and ongoing consultancy support for select people who, I then become either a rev share partner or an equity share partner in their business. So,
Amazing.
yeah.
I love it. What a beautiful voice you have.
Yes. Thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, would you like to, I guess if you had something to share with anybody who's listening, like why you would, I don't want to say recommend, but why this kind of work, this archetype work that you did with the Voices of Gaia, like why is it important and what is the value in it? Why would you want to do it? I mean, some people look and they're like, that's really, like an esoteric structure, and it is, but why do we need esoteric work.
Well, because everything begins in the imaginal realm,
Mm,
right? And so
mhm,
the archetypes are uh energetic forms in the imaginal realm, and doing this work allows you to take it out of the imaginal and into the material, and it builds that, it allows for the bridge to happen physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically, that takes the archetype from the imaginal into full embodiment in the physical. And
mm.
much of the work is at the energetic level. It's not necessarily logical,
No.
right? It's not logical, but it is relational. And
Mm,
the brain, the aspect of the brain that's holistic and relational has to be brought online as we enter into the new earth, because we can no longer survive on rationality alone. In fact, rationality alone is dying its last breaths at the moment. So there's got to be an awakening of the relational mind, the holistic mind, and then a marriage with the rational mind in order for us to move forward and to thrive and to bring a higher level of consciousness to this plane.
yeah.
And so why would you want to do it? Because, you could just go extinct,
That's true.
or you could get you could get the activations that are meant to support your mutation.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Activations that are meant to support the mutation of the great change that we are in right now. Mo-
That's right.
Moving from strictly relying on our minds and rationality to a more relational, yeah, way of
Yeah.
living in harmony.
Right.
In
With the
harmony
earth
with the earth.
first, and then ourselves, and then
With
our fellow, all of our relations.
yes,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
My
sharing
pleasure.
today. And I'm just very grateful for your voice and all that I have learned through the time that I have spent with you. Um, yes, thank you so much.
And I'm grateful for your voice and your courage and your integrity and your devotion to the work.
Oh, it's devotion, yes, because it has to be, right?
That's right. That's right.
The
It
unusual
starts.
leaders.
That's right. And it has to start with devotion, and devotion is what guides the whole thing. Because it's not commercial.
No,
It's devotional.
it's coming
Right.
from
It's
deep within.
devotional. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with commercial, because believe me, we definitely want cash flow in our businesses and in our lives to sustain our thriving and well-being. However, the devotional is what leads this work, no doubt.
It
And
allows
you
it to
are
expand.
highly devoted, highly
Highly
devoted.
devoted.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Angel, for joining me today to talk about the Voices of Gaia project. And I hope that we can have conversations again in the future and find out what you're doing with your
I will.
beautiful voice of Gaia. Thank
My
you so
pleasure.
much. Thank you, everybody, for listening.